Hi, Karen from Quantum Heart Awakening. This will be a sacred play reading. Okay, in the primary position, we have this sweet play card. It says, have fun, celebrate, and don't be too serious. It's funny, I have felt that this reading has been building over the last month. We have had a lot of grounding and play cards in the last bunch of readings. So it makes sense. I didn't choose to do this reading. This is what came out of the collective reading, and I figured feels really important during this kind of chaotic eclipse retrograde period that we have some guidance around sacred play, around creating some protected space so that we can drop into the lighter side of this path, the joyful side of this path, the celebratory side of this path. Okay, let's see where we go. There's something here around when you are loyal to your heart, the natural vibration is play. When you are in celebration or devotion to source consciousness, to unity consciousness, there is this wellspring of unconditional love and sweetness that bubbles up from our heart center and kind of coats our existence in this preciousness. I am looking at this this center happy card. It almost looks like she's a fairy on an egg, which always symbolizes the ovoid of creation for me. And that's a twin flame term. The masculine and feminine, they started as one soul DNA blueprint. And then to advance the soul, to cover more ground here in Earth School, the two separate and exit the ovoid of creation to complete their tasks here on Earth, their tasks and their lessons. But yeah, if you notice this sweet, precious soul on top of this ovoid, it almost looks like there are flames coming off of her. And it just points to how much, once we can ignite this heart center, how much it can spread like wildfire, right? Have you ever, I'm assuming most of you have been around someone who is just so joyful, and seemingly it doesn't come from anywhere. They just are, right? It comes from them. They are just charismatic, magnetic creatures that almost pull you into their joy like a tractor beam. Yeah, I'm seeing the flames come off of her, and I'm also right on the left of her is this yang energy. It's funny, if you see, the hands are making this chalice shape, and in this chalice is this holy fire. So yeah, there's something here around igniting your internal holy fire so that it can burn up what no longer is blocking this sacred, beautiful, unconditional love. The other message I'm getting here is for our inner masculine to take a break. It's the inner masculine that is always consumed with providing and protection and professing mission and purpose and penetrating out in the world. But it's so funny, even though this is a yang card, it's quite literally the yang energy is creating a womb, the Holy Grail with their hands. So even though it's a yang masculine card, the message I'm receiving here is for your masculine to take a break and allow this feminine receptivity to flow. It's time to step into this role as this holy chalice, right? We talked about in one of the last readings that we have incarnated here in Earth School to quite literally vessel something, to vessel an experience, to vessel a vibration, to advance collective consciousness, right? So again, we are honoring our role as the sacred container. And by doing this, we will be able to receive the lighter side. We will be able to flow and honor and play with the energies instead of being so rigid about having to, carefully, instead of carefully, specifically, and sorry, I'm distracted by the image I'm getting. The image I'm getting is like a scientist with one of those magnifying glass things on their head. And, it's like these energies come in and we want to just psychoanalyze them, right? We want to understand them and look at them from every nook and cranny. And right now, it's not that time. Right now, you're allowed to honor all of the work that you have done, especially in the last month, especially since the last full moon. It has been a humdinger of a time. It's just every day a new dense arrival. So, excuse me. So yeah, now we get to just play and celebrate. And I honor that this might take some preparation. It's hard to put things down when we've been carrying them for so long. Let's honor how difficult that is. Okay. Yeah, speaking of the difficulty, there might be some of you that are saying, how could I possibly access and celebrate and play during this time of potential emotional loss, or feeling trapped in fear, or feeling discontent in the soul? Honor those things. If they're showing up for you, they will be there when you return. You are allowed to take breaks. In fact, you need to take a break, right? There's what's that great quote? I can't think of it, but the essential message of it was, sometimes we're incredibly exhausted and we can sleep as much as we want and we still will never really feel fully regenerized. Am I saying that word right? It sounds so weird to me. Re-energized is the word I'm trying to say. We could sleep and sleep and sleep, and yet we will never fully feel like we are ready to take on the day. And that's because it's actually not our bodies that are tired, but our souls, right? We've had long-term discontent in the soul. So pay attention to that as well if that's arriving for you, because that is a divine download, right? That's divine communication, divine intelligence, constantly communicating with you to reveal that there's always another choice, right? Our free will is in such a way, it's been gifted to us in such a way that we are always free to make another choice. The lack of choice is an illusion. It's an egoic illusion, right? The ego puts a lot of different constructs and restraints on what we think we can or cannot do. Most of them are illusions. There's another message here that some of you are being invited to make a choice that is out of the norm for you. You will be surprised at what you receive, either pleasure, play, sweetness. There's something here that if you make a choice that goes against your natural grain, that you will actually be pleasantly surprised here. Okay. Yeah, we're accessing another level of alchemy here, right? We're learning to harmonize the actual body so that we can take another step forward on this path, right? We can't spend all of our time and energy in the darkness, in the depths. It's not sustainable. So we have to learn to bring this sweetness, this light, this play down into the depths with us. I'm thinking of this beautiful quote that says something like, "You can recognize the shaman by the sound of her laughter." That has stayed with me for many years because it just brings us back to the core that this thing of being human is hilarious. It's just such a wild experience that we are even here, that you're even listening to this. And it's comical, right? The great cosmic joke. And so it's the true spiritual masters know to take this whole journey with a grain of salt, with a whole helping of brevity, right? Okay. It always amazes me that when I'm channeling, the message comes out and then I get to the other cards and I've already said the message. That's still, it's a sweet little moment I get to have with spirit of like, oh, okay, you're really here. It's just a nice little reminder. Okay, we are also fine tuning our perception to see beyond illusion. By by training this part of our perception, we are able to discern which is the path of least resistance, right? We are able to move in ease and grace and wield our free will in alignment with choices that are full of ease and grace. By practicing this returning to the sweetness, returning to play, this is actually supporting our self-reliance, right? We are becoming more reliable stewards of this vessel. We are learning the boundaries of sacrifice, of what is sacrifice in the name of love and what is sacrifice in the name of fear, right? We are learning to recalibrate the system to hold sacred boundaries around what's appropriate for us in the moment. A big theme among my group of my community has been around making sure that our boundaries are not too rigid, right? We can, because of this crazy journey of humanness, it's really easy to have one experience and create a whole bunch of rules for ourselves or boundaries for ourselves or others. And oftentimes, sometimes those boundaries are created out of a reaction, out of fear, out of some sort of destabilization. And we have to remember that because we are living, breathing organisms, because the planet is a living, breathing organism, our boundaries too have to be a living, breathing organism, right? We are dynamic creatures, ever changing. And so boundaries cannot be a one size fits all, blanket statement over the course of our lives. We have to fine tune the process of tuning inward in the present moment to assess the situation, to tune into this body instrument that we've been training our whole lives to listen to, right? We have to allow intuition to feed us with something from the mystery in that moment, and then and only then set boundaries that are rooted in love. This is a process, so I invite patience into this journey. We have two cards of calm, one in the conscious, one in the unconscious. So that's always interesting to me when that happens. Yeah, to me, this could be this, again, feeling of ungrounded, right? We're teeter-tottering between feeling calm in our outward expression and total panic in our inner expression, and vice versa, right? Feeling chaotic outwardly and calm inwardly. So this is another call to this harmony, to come into deeper harmonization in these energies. Okay, yeah, let's move on to these beautiful animal cards in the top right. We have Hummingbird Miracles, Horse Freedom, and Eagle in the Mastery. I'm just going to read these cards because I think they're just very sweet. So the hummingbird brings miracles. And remember what I said earlier about you may be confronted with a choice point, and you may basically don't be surprised if you feel called to do something that is out of the norm for you. There may be a surprise miracle in it. Okay, Hummingbird Spirit says, you are the joy bringer. You bless the world with positivity and love. Energy soars on your shining wings. Spread the miracle of happiness. Isn't it beautiful how all these cards center around this idea of play and pleasure and preciousness, this sweet little bubbly, happy flames, right? We're all little flickering flames on the planet, just shining our light and illuminating different things in our little worlds. The horse spirit allows us to access freedom. It says, your heart is pure and free. A greater purpose calls you. You have an unlimited reserve of stamina and strength. You follow the winds of change and accomplish your dreams. Beautiful. And then we have Eagle Mastery. You are on a spiritual journey beyond the sky. Let go of the past and soar. You are guided by the winds of spirit. Your wisdom inspires the world. Isn't it interesting that there's so much wind energy? We have wings, we have wind. There's a lot of taking flight energy and freedom. This stack right here speaks to the pain and the density, the emotional loss, the fear, the boredom, the spiral circular stuckness that some of you may be feeling. And yet you also, to counteract that, you have all this freedom and air energy blowing through this reading. I think it's a Lao Tzu quote. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly, but I think it's a Lao Tzu quote that quote, I can't talk, excuse me, that says, when negative thoughts arrive at your door, leave your front door open and your back door open. Allow them to blow through, just don't serve them tea. It's beautiful. I don't think I said it correctly, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say. And that's the same energy in this reading. It's like, yes, density and pain and obstacles are always going to knock at your door, right? This is life. We are spiritual infinite creatures who are crammed into a very finite vessel, and we're learning how to flow with these energies. We're learning how to express this infinite spirit in a very limited world of matter. And so this stuff is always going to show up. And I love this idea of allow them to show up, allow them to be here, but don't serve them tea. Allow them to blow through your house and honor their arrival and honor their departure. You will still, no matter what's happening, you will still have access to play, to the preciousness of our divine spirit. Okay. Let's pop to the unconscious. That was a lot. There's big messages in here, and it speaks to kind of the grind of this journey. This has been coming up for weeks now, that in the unconscious we have this kind of infinite divine connection. So again, I'm going to read this now. Remind you, this is the unicorn spirit. This is infinite possibilities in the unconscious. It says you are, and so as you listen, these might be things that you're struggling to integrate and struggling to believe that these could actually exist for yourself. Or these could be themes that you have pushed into the shadow. Okay, unicorn spirit. It says, you are the sovereign of the seen and unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirits of light. Abandon the darkness. Go beyond the ordinary and become the legendary. I will put that right there. And I'm also drawn to that there are two unicorns on this card and two butterflies. Actually, there might be three butterflies. that's interesting because the message I just received is that one is feminine and one is masculine. And then the three butterflies are symbolize the internal, external, and then the union of these opposites. Wow, what a beautiful message. Something that stands out to me is, oh, I just felt tears well up. Abandon the darkness. You're allowed to just abandon the darkness. You're allowed to abandon this whole little section here, this whole section of fear and pain and emotional loss and discontent. You know, sometimes on this path, and I've dealt with this many times within myself because I have a transpersonal psychology background, I have a coaching background, I have a I've approached mysticism from an academic standpoint and also a lived personal standpoint. But because sometimes when we learn so many things and have so many different lenses to look at this stuff through, sometimes it gets really difficult to just let go of stuff. It's really easy to get caught up in the infinite loop of thinking that you have to understand every little micro thing that happened in your past or your childhood or that past relationship or that past job or whatever it is, but you are allowed to abandon the darkness. You might not need it anymore. And so this is bringing us back to a full circle moment, that this may actually be the surprising choice you may make for yourself. If you have previously been someone to ruminate on many different things and kind of get stuck in mental analytical patterns, this might be a new choice for you. What if you just close the chapter of this pain, of this emotional loss? What if you just honor where you've been and close this book and put it on the shelf? Or maybe even donate the book, give it away. You know, it's not something that you have to keep. No one said on this journey that you have to keep your pain in your back pocket at all times. In fact, I'm hearing Carolyn Mace say, don't speak woundology. This was a hard lesson for me to hear, and I think most people to hear. She always said, you know, speak your pain 5 or 6 times and then never speak about it again. And of course, take that with a grain of salt, because we are only, give yourself a heaping amount of compassion if that feels a little activating for you. But I get the sentiment of what she says. She, it doesn't support us to stay in the active pain, right? It doesn't support us to every morning wake up and relive that trauma. So at some point, and of course, we can ask for help. I seek the support you need to get through the preliminary moment. But at some point, in order to grasp onto something new, we're going to have to let go of the old thing, right? We need both hands here on this process. If you think the visual I just received, and it's kind of perfect because we're talking about play and sweetness. The image I just received is on the playground, the monkey bars. You can't reach the next bar until you let go of the last bar. So there's something about freeing your hands. This could also be more specifically literally putting down tasks and burdens that you've been carrying. Even I call you to evaluate your daily tasks. There's something about the hands here that I'm getting. And isn't it interesting? I just noticed this, that in this Yang card, we have this chalice-like hand gesture. And doesn't it look like the same shape as this loyal heart? Wow, that's really interesting. And it's hard to tell from there, but in the loyal card, let me grab it. Hold on. Look at this card. Wait, is it in focus? It's 2 owls wearing crowns, turning their heads back and looking at one another. Wow, I don't think I ever put that together, but it does feel very much as a inner feminine and inner masculine, exalted inner feminine, exalted inner masculine and masculine coming together in this divine union. Whoa, that was so beautiful. I love the phrase. I'm sorry, I know I was done talking about it, but I'm not done talking about it. I just love the phrase abandon the darkness, because so often when we talk about abandonment, it's usually in such a dense, dark, heavy way that we have felt that we have been abandoned or something like that. And here it's in this beautiful call to higher love, call to higher action. Abandon the darkness in order to choose the light. It's just that simple. Okay. Yeah, we also have this in the unconscious. We have this open your heart, set loving boundaries. And then over here, we have strong boundaries. So, there may be some of you that are have wounding around opening your heart and maybe not being able to communicate certain boundaries. I'm also drawn to this stack here. We have this green, blue, green pattern, and it's almost like the heart chakra is sandwiching the throat chakra. So there's something here about calling to this higher heart opening, that you are not who you were, right? You are someone in this present moment that you've never been before. So again, this goes back to making surprising choices. There's something about trusting in where you are in the moment, that you will actually have access to your sovereign power, that you will be able to identify, set, and communicate and hold these new loving boundaries. Okay. Anything else? Okay, let me end on the self-care. I haven't addressed this area of the reading. So these are sweet self-care cards, and I just love them. I think they're just very precious and simple and direct. So I always take note when we start to have repeating messages. For instance, we have chanting and singing. We have dancing and movement. We have nourishing your temple and resting, right? These are beautiful, different pieces, different alchemical unions. We have access to, again, throat chakra, and then movement, action, moving it through the body and actually moving the body. It's reminding me of that body reading I did and how important it is to anchor this spiritual work in the 3D by actually nourishing the physical body. So yeah, some things you can actually do are, maybe you have affirmations that you say, or mantras, singing, chanting, journaling about this process. Maybe I invite you to even spend some time doing a journal exercise around what sounds fun to you now as this person. With each spiral around this ascension path, we become different people, and we have to become reacquainted with each new version of self. What brought you fun and pleasure 5 months ago might not bring you fun and pleasure now. So I invite you to just drop in and spend some time accessing what would be really fun and playful to you right now. What feels your precious, what feels like the most precious thing you could do for yourself or with the people that you love. Okay, let's see. Is there anything else? We also have this connect with your ancestors in the unconscious. So, something that came up for me this morning that really shifted things. I realized, because the way my life has laid out and my calling here on the planet, it has taken me away from many common paths that other people in my family have taken, both living and also deceased, like my ancestors. And what was brought into my awareness this morning is that I am walking this path to do the things that they could not do, right? To do the things that they could not accomplish, to to overcome the battles that they have lost. You know, there's something here about connecting with their ancestors, at minimum, just to honor that they, what's that phrase? You know, they walked so we could run. There's something about that. And as I said, that tears start to well up. You know, there's something here about honoring that we, consciously or not, are carrying our ancestors on our backs, carrying their trials, their tribulations, their successes, and their profound failures, their pain, their pleasure. We carry it all with us in our DNA, in our energetic blueprint. Okay, I'm going to end on a cosmic journey card. That was a really beautiful journey with this. Okay. All right. What do these playful spirits need to know for the highest and best good of self and the planet? We have, you will only see the way by making the way. Right. You're only going to know what that playful, energetic, sweet, precious, innocent reference point is going to feel like in the body when you are there in the moment. Anything else, Spirit? Anything else? Yeah, I just noticed too, that's a 38 card, right? Reduces to an 11. When I think of 11s, I think of pillars, right? You're being called, this is another pillar of ascension. So you can complain all you want about me talking about play, but this is actually the modality that's going to get you there, right? There's something hidden that desires to be released in this play. We also have the universe wants to co-conspire with you, and we have the medicine wheel image there. So if you resonate with the shamanic medicine wheel, each cardinal direction means something else. You could look that up and move through the medicine wheel as you step deeper into this preciousness. Then we also have your 111-year-old self. I'm going to put that near this ancestors card. Yeah, it's funny because there's another card in this deck that's your 11-year-old self. So I just think that's interesting, honoring that duality between our younger self and our ancient self, right? Each version holds profound wisdom. Okay, anything else? One more maybe. Anything else? I think that's it. All right, I'm going to end there. Thank you so much for being with me here today, and I hope this was supportive. See you in the next one.